Okay, so Upanishad verse number 14. Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha, Govinda and Prabhupada before we start. I'm recording it right. So mantra 9 to 14 actually give the knowledge of the absolute and the relative. So 9 to 11 give it in the terms of knowledge. What is the difference between the absolute and the relatives? 12 to 14 give the difference in terms of worship. Right, in term 9 to 11, we compared knowledge and science and the respective destination of the followers of each. And then 12 to 14, the worship of the relative and the absolute. So the conclusion is that the cultivation of wrong knowledge can be binding. And similarly, the conception of the absolute truth can be liberating. Verse 13 that we read over a month ago now, I guess, explains that one achieves a different result when his understanding of the absolute is guided by adhira. 14th that we're going to study today states that one must know the spiritual and material energies properly in their respective positions to achieve liberation. So this is the verse. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastad vedo bhayam saha vinashena mrityum tritva sambhutyamritam ashnute. Would you like to recite?
Yes, Mataji. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastad vedo bhavam saha vinashena mrityum tritva sambhutyam atram ashnute.
Nice, thank you. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So, the emphasis is to understand God along with his form, transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastime, right? What is it? Naam, Gun, Leela, and Roop. Nectar of Devotion talks more detail about that. And also side by side understand what is Vinashamcha or temporary manifestation with his temporary demigods. So why is it so important to know Krishna's material creation? So Sambhuti means the eternal personality of Godhead along with his name, form, pastime, qualities, paraphernalia. Vinasham means temporary manifestation with temporary demigods, men, animals, etc. So it is Prabhupada states that nobody in contact with material nature can be beyond the six laws of transformation, right? We know that birth, growth, maintenance, production of byproducts, deterioration, and finally death. And nobody can survive forever. But this is a very strong statement Prabhupada makes in the description of the verse. Scientists and politicians are trying to make this world deathless because they have no information about deathless spiritual world. So if we don't also have the knowledge of the deathless spiritual world, then we are very likely to be misguided. That is why it is important to know side by side what is Sambhutim and what is Vinasham. We have heard this many times, Krishna's different energies. Vishnu Puran lists Krishna's different energies. Even Bhagavad Gita lists para and apara. There are different ways of explaining different energies of Krishna. One way is para and apara. And then the other way, what is the other way of explaining Krishna's different energies? Para is superior, apara is inferior or material. What is the other way of categorizing Krishna's energy that you know of? So external energy, internal energy, marginal energy,
Okay, the
Antaranga Shakti.
antara tatastha, something like that.
Yeah, Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tathastha Shakti. Right, so depends on how one is categorizing. And then also in 15th chapter, it's apara and para. I think he says apara and para in 15th chapter Bhagavad Gita also. So living entities actually belong to the superior energy. But material creation is made possible by inferior energy, which is separated. Okay, and then what happens? The superior energy comes in contact with the inferior energy and becomes covered.
Hmm.
And under its influence, it starts to perform fruitive activities. And that is why it is subjected to the laws of the inferior energy, where this birth, death, old age, and disease happen. What is the solution? Uncover to become deathless. So Lord can be approached only by unalloyed devotional service. So one who has developed an intention or desire to understand the Vinashim and Sambhutim must inquire about what is Sambhutim. Okay, because if and it has to be inquiry has to be from a devotional by the execution of the unalloyed devotional service. If one is not doing unalloyed devotional service, there is no other way to understand what is Sambhutim or spiritual or deathless. Because no other process is very it's made very clear like gyan, karma or moksha we cannot understand. But what can we do if somebody is practicing karma? What can they do? They can elevate themselves to Swargalok and including the higher planets like sun and moon. Somebody is practicing gyan, then they can elevate them or gyanis and yogis. They can elevate themselves to higher planets like Maharlok, Tapalok, Brahmalok. And then there is a higher chance from going to those planets to elevate themselves further to Vaikuntha Lok, Brahmalok. But nobody can enter Vaikuntha Lok without being trained in devotional service. Okay, so one needs to be trained in devotional service and execute devotional service in the loving propensity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the similarity between Brahmavadis and Mayavadis? The idea of merging and holding everything is one. Okay, so Brahmavadi and Mayavadi, the Brahmavadi think everything is Brahman, and Mayavadis think that there is no, everything is, no, this is all temporary, and there is something which is permanent, but the permanent has no form. But Brahmavadis, on the contrary, what is the difference? Mayavadis, there is no question of liking or disliking the truth. Prabhupada said it is there. If we want to be saved, we must save to devotional service. Okay, Brahma Shankaracharya, well, actually he was a devotee, right? Shankaracharya is incarnation of Lord Shiva. He said Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. They consider everything as aspect of Maya, illusion, even Krishna. Therefore, because of this attitude, they fall down. Okay, so Mayavadis, they don't, there is no liking or disliking the truth. They don't believe in something which is higher. It says everything is Maya. Everything is an aspect of illusion. Everything is Maya. Brahmavadis say that everything is a manifestation of the Brahman. That is the difference. But the idea which is same is that everything has to merge in one. Everybody is one, somehow or other. Brahmavadis are less antagonistic. They're self-realized Brahmavadis from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? We have four Shri Sukdev Goswami, four Kumaras. They're not Mayavadis. They were Brahmavadis. They consider everything is Brahman, but they like it because they have got the but because of them being Brahmavadis, they got a chance to become self-realized devotees. Now, this was a preaching application from my Bhakti Shastra. I brought it here, but think about it. Like advertisement, the companies market their products and write it by the marketing strategies. So write a draft advertisement to attract others to Krishna consciousness. I think this can be a group project when we have more people. So try to make it attractive to thoughtful, intelligent people. Like you're advertising Krishna consciousness, how are you going to advertise? Advertise not in the very heavy language. Some because you see marketing strategies. People you have done MBA, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. So you're the best person to do this project. So you're gonna teach us, okay?
Okay, Mataji. I'll go back to study my books again, the marketing books.
No, I think you have studied already. You've gone past beyond that. Okay, I'll go to the deeper password of the chapter because I think this is very important to understand. If you get bored, then let me know. Ambika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So, knowing Sambhuti and Asambhuti. So, Sambhutim Cha, Krishna, which is Krishna and his name, form, qualities, and pastime. Vinasham Cha, which is temporary material creation with his demigod, humans, and animals. Yastad Vedo Bhayam Saha. Panu perfectly knows both what is Sambhuti, what is Vinasham. Vinasham Mrityum Tritva surpasses death and the transient cosmic manifestation. Sambhutya Amritam Ashnute enjoys his eternal life of knowledge and bliss in the kingdom of God. So this we studied. Prabhupada opens the explanation of the verse by saying that material world is a place of death. Right. No one is immune. If somebody thinks they're immune, then Krishna sends very nice reminders. So 6 bodily problems are there, changes are there, 4 problems are there, birth, death, old age, disease. And then how do we understand that this is not a temporary place? Prabhupada is giving these examples. Controllership is there. Right, we want to control over or lord it over the material nature. That is why the market platforms are expanding. You see, when we can look, I was thinking one time when we were young, we had to actually physically walk place to place to place to buy things, right? And they were very far apart. It's like if you want to go and buy cloth, you have to go all the way to the market. Versus if you want to buy some grocery, it is near the house. Was it like that for all of you too? Or maybe you're younger than me. So it was far apart, but now everything is at the click of a button. And in that click of a button, there is a virtual world which has been created, and that's expanding, ever expanding, because ether is there's no limit, no, it's all in that aspect. In the earthly concept and in the physical domain, you can measure length and breadth of the ground where these places will be. But in ether, there is no measurement. So that is why it will keep on expanding. Why? Because the greed, the propensity to lord it over the material nature is expanding. So when somebody comes out and is very proud that they developed this application, this launch, that launch, this launch, immediately understand it from the spiritual perspective that it is because we cannot measure, we keep expanding. We cannot measure that space, the ethereal space. So, but it is just an expression of the expansion of a dominating propensity, controllership. And we don't want to be part of it. We can utilize it to the need, but don't get sucked into it because it'll be, we cannot measure how deep we are going to go. Okay, and transmigration, as long as the disease of controllership continues, transmigration continues. So Vedas talk about both spiritual and material worlds. Right, I'm not going to go in detail, but I'll just mention Krishna. Prabhupada mentions Vishnu's energies, Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. The living entity belongs to Krishna, Para Prakriti, and the material energy belongs to Apara Prakriti. So the temporary material planets are actually existing only during the lifespan of Brahma. He talks about different kinds of unmanifested stages, right? There are 2 kinds of unmanifested states which are mentioned. One unmanifested state is where all the planets at the end of Brahma's night, during Brahma's night, all the jivas in various planets within the universe are merged into waters of devastation. But at the end of Brahma's life, the entire cosmic manifestation is vanquished. Okay, so there are two kinds of devastation. One is at the end of Brahma's night, where jivas are unmanifested, and then at the end of Brahma's life. But then beyond this two kinds of unmanifested state, there is a spiritual realm which exists with this, even when everything in this world is vanquished. So the Isopnishad is very kindly giving us the information of that realm. And what is the benefit of understanding it? Transcending death and attaining immortality. How? By pure devotional service. Only by bhakti, not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga. Okay, only by surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not mean slavership. It means attaining one's own lost identity. And what is the benefit? By devotional service and by surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains that eternal life. Beyond this Vinasham Prakriti. There is no other way. It's mentioned 2-3 times in this verse. There is no other way. Prabhupada says there is no question of liking or disliking the truth. It is a matter of necessity. If we want to be safe from repeated birth and death, individually and collectively, we must take to Krishna Bhakti without compromise. This is a principle-based statement we must take, and the detail how to take and what are the obstacles one is going to face, how to interact with each and every devotee according to their level of realization. So everything is given, that's a detail. Okay, principle is take it. And detail is, of course, is unfolded, is actually, it actually becomes accessible to a person who resolves in this determination of taking it. Okay, and then by this we'll start the next part of Isupnishad. So I'll do till 16 verse. Verse number 15. This is Radha Raman. Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha, Govinda, and Prabhupada. So verse 15 to 18 are the prayers by devotee for revelation of Lord's spiritual form and mercy at the time of death. Very important, right? Whatever happens at the time of death defines the ultimate destiny. So 12 to 14 describe necessity of understanding Krishna and relationship with his material energies. 15 explains that one must also understand Krishna's relationship with his spiritual potency, the Brahma Jyoti, in order to achieve realization of him. Okay, then come to next one. This is the verse. Hiranmayena patrena satya spahitam mukham tattvam pushan apavrino satya dharmaya drishyate. Anybody would like to repeat? Hiranmayena patrena. Hare Krishna, Kirti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, anybody would like to repeat?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Or Ambika Mataji was trying.
Both of you can do.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यास्यापि सत्यासापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषान् अपावृणो सत्यधर्माये दृष्टते.
Thank you. Inda
Hiranmayena patrena satyaya pishitam mukham tattvam pushan apavranu satya dharmaya drishyate.
Thank you. Kirti Mataji.
Yes,
If you are
Mataji,
able
Hare
to.
Krishna. Yes, Mataji. हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषन् अपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Translation by Prabhupada. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. Hiranmaya Patra. Brahmajyoti means gold dazzling effulgence. Ordinary living entity, Jiva, should never be considered the all-powerful as the supreme truth. Right? We have studied that even in the 14th chapter, so many places. So, ordinary living entities is not same as all-powerful supreme truth. If we were supreme, we would not need to pray to him to remove his dazzling cover to see his face. That's one proof that Krishna is the supreme. Krishna himself says in 14th chapter verse 27, right? I am, and I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is a constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Brahmoham Brahmo hi pratishta aham, right? That's the verse. And then he again mentions in 7th chapter, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So we cannot see the thread on which the pearls are strung in a necklace. But because they are so nicely arranged, we can infer that they are hanging on a thread. Like that, we cannot see Krishna, but because the arrangement is of the material universe is going on so well, that we must be able to infer that Krishna is present. Now, if somebody wants to see Krishna, then one needs to request to remove the dazzling effulgence. But what is the dazzling effulgence is what we'll study. Then Krishna says, this is an important verse in this context, but what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So what is that single fragment that Krishna is talking about here? I pervade and support this entire universe. What is that single fragment? What is that single fragment that he's talking about?
Paramatma Mataji.
Yeah. So the Paramatma feature. So Brahma Samhita also says, verse 40, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagatanda Koti Kotesha Shesha Vishuddhati Bhuti Bhinnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Ananta Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So confirms that Brahma Jyoti is Brahman. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagatanda Koti Koteshwa. So what it means is I worship Govind, the premier Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads, being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe, appears as the invisible, infinite, limitless, and truth. So now Bhagwan feature of Krishna is actually the ultimate realization. Right, we studied that Brahma Jyoti is something which is coming from the effulgence of Krishna. Paramatma is something which he's expanded himself to pervade and maintain the entire material universe. Okay, we don't study about the Paramatma feature in the spiritual universe. So in the material universe. So that way it is a material understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is an understanding of the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Bhagwan feature, what is Krishna doing? In Brahma Jyoti is like golden effulgence, the 3/4 manifestation of Krishna's energy, the sky in which Vaikuntha planets are there. Right, and then Paramatma we studied pervade and maintain. So what is Krishna doing? Krishna is just having 5 kinds of relationships with his devotees. So Bhagwan features the ultimate. Like Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras. We studied all this. Vatsalyaras and Madhuryaras. So impersonalists are bewildered by the glaring effulgence of the Brahma Jyoti. If one wants to see the absolute truth in full, one has to penetrate beyond the 24 material elements and glaring effulgence. But Brahma Jyoti is described in Bhagavadgita 1427, Brahma Samhita 540, Mundaka Upanishad, Prabhupada gives a big reference. Okay, let's go to that part. Kindle. So this is the verse, an appeal to see the Lord. Hiranmayena patrena satya sapihitam mukham. O Lord, O Supreme Truth, your face is covered by your dazzling golden effulgence. Tattvam pushan apavrino. O sustainer, maintainer, and nourisher of all, kindly uncover your face. Satya dharmaya drishyate, and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. So without the Lord's mercy and sanction, one cannot meet him on his own effort. It's not that because I'm chanting 16 rounds now, Krishna is indebted to show himself to me. No, it's not that because I'm following to the most of the part four regular principles, Krishna is indebted to show himself to me. No, it's nothing of those nature. Krishna maintains his independence in all circumstances. What is that first verse of Bhagavatam? Remind me, please. First verse of Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Well, in that verse, the Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada explains the supremely independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the verse? I'm blanking out. We have to look at it now. Nobody knows first verse of Bhagavatam? Itiritascha arthesha abhigyana swarat. Abhigyana swarat. Itiritascha artheshu abhigyana swarat. So that abhigyana swarat, janmadhyasya yato anvayat itiritascha artheshu abhigyana swarat. So this abhigyana swarat is independent. Abhigyana swarat is actually not dependent on any situation. It's not that because I have done something for Krishna, now Krishna is indebted. This is how the transactions go on in this material world, right? Action and reaction, action and reaction, action and reaction. That's how the karmic intricacies become very, very complex in our life. We do action, there is a reaction. Whether it's a good action or a bad action or whatever action, there's a reaction. So we cannot put Krishna in that category of action and reaction. Now I've done an action for Krishna, Krishna has to give me a reaction. No. So because he's Abhigyana Swarat. Prabhupada, I remember Namnishra used to say that you can chant all your life, but Krishna may still not reveal himself to you. He will not do that because his devotee has declared, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has declared that Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Kevalam. But he can. And even if he does, he still remains God. So we have to understand that he's not going to do that because of the love. The love pulls him to do that, which we fully understand from Damodar Leela. If you have read Damodar Leela in detail, we understand how different energies of Krishna are like having a discussion within themselves that should Krishna allow Mata Yashoda to bind him or not. But then Kripa Shakti or the mercy potency of Krishna becomes predominant. And because Krishna wants to interact with his devotee, so that Shakti takes over and then Mata Yashoda binds. Like that. So without Krishna's mercy and sanction, no matter whatever we are doing, we can think of ourselves, whatever the mind can make us think of ourselves, doesn't really matter. Because the mind can only think about, if we are not in the spiritual realm, we cannot think beyond our own self. Even in bhakti, we cannot think about beyond our own self. We may think that, oh, I'm thinking about Krishna. Actually, no, because we're thinking about our own self, that what will suit me rather than what will suit Krishna. That is why a devotee who has, how do you know somebody is a Uttamadhikari? How do you know? One of the actions that Uttamadhikari does is that they take the risk. They take the risk of something which is which others cannot think of. Like see Shriya Prabhupada, see Narad Muni. If we're reading that pastime, we just read, right? He delivered 10,000 sons of Daksha. He didn't stop there. He delivered 5,000 sons. He didn't stop there too, even though he got cursed. One may think, now you got cursed, stop now. No. He then we'll study he'll deliver Prahlad Maharaj later in 7th chapter. So he continues. They take the risk. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada took the risk. So and then that taking the risk attracts Krishna's attention that this jiva, is really trying its best. So have we tried our best is the question, or we are just very comfortable in like chanting and just following four regulatory principles and putting a limit to it, locking ourselves in that paradigm that this is enough for me. No. Okay, so Jiva is not equal to God. Krishna is the source of Brahma and Brahman and Paramatma. Brahma Jyoti is dazzling effulgence of Krishna's personal form. It is called impersonal Brahman. And then what is the quality? Explained in 1427. We have studied it. It is immortal, imperishable, eternal, and position of ultimate happiness. How is it a position of ultimate happiness? How do you explain this? Position of ultimate happiness. It is not an ultimate happiness, but it is a position of ultimate happiness. What does it mean? We understand Brahma Jyoti is immortal because it is not under the domain of birth, death, old age, disease. It is not under the time factor. Time factor makes us mortal. Brahma Jyoti is not. Is imperishable. Yes, because Krishna is unlimited, he's deathless, is always there. Eternal, like always there, past, present, future, was there, is there, will always be there. What is it? Is the position of ultimate happiness. What does this mean? Explain me, please. Explain to me, please. Mm-hmm. Am I audible? Because I cannot go beyond 20 more minutes.
Mataji, once we attain that there is no rebirth, there is complete freedom from the cycle of birth and death.
No, people, well, that could be understanding, but we understand that Mayavadis or Brahmavadis can fall down, right? Because there is no variety, right? Uh, and then they come back and fall in the material realm to find the variety. In the sky, there is no variety. You see, you have to read in between line. It is the position of ultimate happiness. It is not the ultimate happiness in itself, but it makes a good launching ground for getting to the platform of ultimate happiness, the position of ultimate happiness. How do I explain it? Let's say that if somebody has, it's not a very good example, but trying to understand what is position of ultimate happiness and difference of position of ultimate happiness and being in ultimate happiness mean. Let's say that there is a student and the student has prepared really, really well. They've studied really well throughout the tenure or of the semester for the final exam. So that puts them in a better position to write a better exam, right? But is it the guarantee that they have already like passed the exam with flying colors? Is it a guarantee? Or it just puts them in a position to do that? So I can only see Indradumna Prabhu's head shaking like this or like this, like this.
I got your point, Mataji. So when we are doing our hard work, our endeavor, then we are in a position of that,
Yeah.
but it's not guaranteed. Only once we take the exam, and then when we pass the exam in flying colors, then we are in the ultimate happiness.
Yeah. So when somebody is in that particular realization of Brahma Jyoti, complete realization, that then puts them in a favorable situation to go further. Right? And we just gave example of Brahmavadis like Sukdev Goswami, four Kumaras. They were fully realized of Brahma Jyoti, but it is not the real happiness in itself. Okay, that's the difference. And then we studied that to be able to millions of material universes with unlimited planets are situated in the Krishna corner of Brahma Jyoti. unlimited, free from material contamination, light of all lights, no need for sunshine, moonshine, fire, electricity. Illumination in the material world is only a reflection of that supreme illumination, spreads throughout both material and spiritual skies. But Krishna is Bhagwan. Bhagwan feature is Matta Parataram Na Anyat. There is nothing superior to be known beyond Krishna. He himself is saying it. Absolute truth. Absolute truth, Tattva Gyan and Sattva Gyan. I think we discussed it. What is the difference between Tattva Gyan and Sattva Gyan? Krishna, when he talks about approaching a spiritual master, what does he say? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanti tad jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. He doesn't say jnanina sattvadarshina. Here also Krishna is addressed as the supreme absolute truth. Why is he not considered as a supreme, truth of all truths? We have discussed it, but remind me. Come on. We have to go further. Tattva Gyan and Sattva Gyan. What is the difference?
Mataji, Hare Krishna, we discussed that Tattva is something that is permanent, Mataji. He can never change. But whereas Sattva is something which is bound to change. And you gave the example of the date and year, Mataji. Like, it is true, but it will change.
Very nice.
But whereas Tattva is something which will never change, Mataji. It is eternal. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, see, yeah. So Sattva is truth, but it is truth in the particular realm of a time. Like, for example, today is what, October 3rd, 2025. It's true, it's not false, but it will change tomorrow. And it was different yesterday. But Tattva is same always. Krishna was God, is God, and will always remain God. So that's Tattva Darshana. Okay, so Brahmajyoti is all pervading. He's a source of the root of impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. One describes Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan according to one's realization of him. Okay, this is very important that the kind of devotee that we associate with, if they are talking more about the Brahman feature, it's more about their understanding and not about the understanding of God itself. Understand that this is their realization, their level of realization is that they can only comprehensively speak about either Brahman feature or Paramatma feature or Bhagwan feature. And why are we trying to understand it? To find fault in others? No, so that we can bring ourselves to a proper association. Yeah, if you sit with even in Krishna consciousness, you will find people who are at different levels. So we have to choose or define our goal and then bring ourselves to that association. Krishna, on the other hand, is always blissful. He's always killing all these devotees as if it's nothing. And Krishna has created all these pastimes. Why? Because to attract our attention, who wish to find out the absolute truth. And Krishna is performing the 5 rasas. Now, Paramatma is a maintainer, right? Paramatma function is Pushan or maintainer. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but he supports and maintains and destroys this material universe with his single fragment as Paramatma or Supersoul. Living entities called Atma, and one who controls them is Paramatma. And then there are 3 Purusha avatars or Vishnu Tattvas that is very well explained in first canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shridakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Karanadakshay Vishnu. Shridakshay Vishnu is all pervading Paramatma in every individual jiva. He is one of the Guna avatars. Again, has taken the incarnation in material modes, one of the Guna avatars. Garbhadakshay Vishnu, the collective supersoul of all living entities, and we know Karanadakshay Vishnu is the causal ocean, the creator of all. Vishnu in the causal ocean, the creator of all universes. To see Krishna face to face, one has to penetrate 24 material elements and dazzling effulgence of Brahmajyoti. And this is a very common reference that we have made multiple times during our course. Partial and complete realization. So Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, Bhagwan realization. Brahman realization, no knowledge of the Lord's potencies. Paramatma realization realizes Lord's material potencies, but not the spiritual potencies. That how God is great, how God is creating all these big things, how God can fulfill everyone's desires. Like I'm reading currently the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj in detail. And this is a book by Karanga Darshan Das Prabhu. I can show you the book if you want after we do this. And I was reading that actually Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest for Paramatma realization, which is in the material potency, that I want a kingdom bigger than, greater than my great grandfather Brahma. But Bhagwan realization is a complete realization. So, Gyanis, what do they realize? Brahman. Yogis, what do they realize? Paramatma. Bhaktas, what do they realize? Bhagwan. So, Gyanis, by knowledge, we can understand I'm not the body, I'm the soul. So, I'm eternal. Brahman realization. Yogis, Ashtanga Yoga, can have Krishna in the heart, like Paramatma realization. But by devotional service, one can realize the Bhagwan aspect of Krishna. So Gyanis are better than Karmis and Yogis are better than Gyanis. But of all the things, Bhaktas are the topmost. Understand, so Hiranmayena Patrena, there is discussion about Brahman effulgence, how it is connected to Krishna, and what are its features, and what lies in Brahma Jyoti is also there. And what level of realization does the realization of Brahma Jyoti bring us to? And then there's a little bit of a discussion about Paramatma, and then there's a glimpse of what's the highest, which is Krishna or Bhagwan feature. Okay, I'll do verse 6 also, and then we'll do 17, 18 next time. Krishna. Okay, what happened?
Mataji, I might leave in 5 minutes. Guru Maharaj is also staying nearby, and we might have to go for
Please
a walk.
feel free to go.
5 minutes. Yeah, thank you. I'll
You can
put it
go
on my
now
mobile
also,
now.
it's fine.
Take it on my mobile now. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it crash? Oh, I think my thingy had gone.
Oh, we got an update. It's taking time. No,
You
no
can-
rush.
Huh?
No rush. I just got an update. Maharaj is still taking rest. So I have time.
Okay. If you have to go, please feel free to go.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
this is verse 16. Again, let's pay obeisance to Shri Radha, Govinda and Prabhupada. So we studied 12 to 14 described necessity of understanding Krishna consciousness in relationship with material energies. And then verse number 15 that we just studied explains Krishna's relationship with his spiritual potency, the Brahma Jyoti, in order to achieve realization of him. 16 continues the prayer of mantra 15 for the Lord to reveal his spiritual form. 17 emphasizes understanding Krishna at the time of death, and 18 is a concluding prayer by a devotee who desires to achieve Krishna's mercy. This is verse number 16. Pushan ekarshe yamasurya prajapatya vyoharasmin samuha tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami yo asvau asau purushaso aham asmi. Translation by Prabhupada. O my Lord, O premier philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as am I. So Krishna is addressed as Eka which is premier philosopher. Pushan, which is maintainer of the universe, cannot be impersonal. Although Krishna maintains all beings, he specifically maintains his devotees and well-wishers. The devotees of the Lord can see him eye to eye by his causeless mercy, not because they are devotees, but because Krishna is giving mercy. So we know this example, right? Sun and its rays analogy. The rays of the sun have so many molecules of light. And even though they are emanating from the sun, they are still distinct from the sun. But sun, planet, and the rays together form the whole diorama, or for the whole manifestation. So qualitatively, we are same as Krishna. Living entity and Lord are one and the same quality. But sun is one, molecules of the sun are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute parts of sun. Sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. And we just studied about Brahma Jyoti, described in Brahma Samhita as rays emanating from Golok Vrindavan, just as sun rays are emanating from sun globe. Without surpassing the glare of Brahma Jyoti, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. Impersonal philosophers are blinded by dazzling Brahma Jyoti. They cannot realize the world and his transcendental form. Paramatma is Pushan, controller. Atma is controlled. Therefore, they are different categories. Paramatma fully cooperates with Atma and is a constant companion of the living being. Actually, our only constant companion is Paramatma. We think so, anyway, there is none. The Lord always helps his devotee by imparting necessary knowledge within the hearts, dissipating all the darkness of ignorance. What is that verse? Dadami buddhi yogam tam ye namam upayanti te. While speculative philosophers and yogis depend on their own strength. That is the whole problem. Those who are not perfect as pure devotees, namely those who have realized Paramatma or Bhagwan feature, cannot appreciate the qualities of the perfect devotees. Bhagwan feature, Bhagavan. Right? This is explained in this verse. Bha means one who fully maintains or guardian. Ga means guide, leader, or creator. And Van indicates a living entity. Every living entity lives in him, and that he also lives in every being. So he maintains, he guides, and he is with the living entity. Lord is the cause of all causes, is original cause, since there is nothing that's caused by him. This is a very big discussion in the Shastras, by the way, cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. And based on this cause of all causes, there is cause and effect explanation. A glimpse of cause and effect is given in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna mentions about cause and effect. So the cause is always present in the effect. And there is a direct cause, and then there is a remote cause, there is the ultimate cause. But a devotee of Krishna is not bewildered. A person who's not in Krishna consciousness gets bewildered. What caused it? What happened? How did this happen to me? Or what Krishna devotee understands from the spiritual point of view, that there is a bigger plan, and without Krishna's sanction, nothing is caused. Begging for God's mercy is again Pushan. Krishna is, "O Lord, please be merciful and show yourself." Pushan, O maintainer of the universe. Ekarshe, O premier philosopher. Yam, O regulating principle. Surya, O destination of devotees. Prajapataya, O well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind. Vyuha rasmin samoha tejo yatte rupam. Please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your most auspicious form of bliss. Kalyan tamam tat te pashyami. Yo asau asau purusha so aham asmi. You are the eternal Lord. I am also spiritual in nature, just as the sun and its rays are the same quality. So first thing is, Prabhupada has established that because he is considered as premier philosopher, maintainer, well-wisher, he cannot be impersonal. This is bogus if somebody says God is impersonal. But Bhagwan realization is complete. The analogies of the sun and the sun rays, or sun is Krishna. I think we did this. So Krishna is the maintainer of his devotees. He guides them progressively on the path towards devotional service. Krishna leads us by giving us the bhakti. Merciful. Devotees see Krishna face to face by his causeless mercy. The mercy remains causeless, okay? There's no cause. You cannot say the cause is because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, so I achieve Krishna's mercy. The cause is that I actually worshipped a pure devotee, so that led to. There is no cause and so it's causeless. Creator, he bestows all necessary qualification upon. You see, this is very important and very encouraging that that very that that we actually get all those qualities we need to go to Krishna. Hey, it's not that what happens in the material realm when we are getting this secular education. The secular education can also be spiritual education if one enters into that realm with the understanding of Krishna consciousness. But if we don't, and we go through secular education, and in that mindset, what is really taught to us? What is really taught to us? That you have to work and develop the quality, work and develop the quality to be able to function in this world. Like, for example, the other day, I think my daughter was joking, but there's some princess college in UK, like where they teach the etiquettes of the princesses. Something. So, and I was like, okay, tell me more. So, how do you walk? How do you lift your fork? How do you lift your knives? How do you actually, how many times you chew your food? How do you bow down? How do you, okay, so you go to this school. I was like, okay, you go to this school, you learn how do you do this conduct, and then you are eligible to be called as the princess. But Krishna consciousness is not like that. Okay, understand. Krishna consciousness, Krishna bestows the necessary qualification upon his devotees. He's so merciful. He actually, decorate, makes us ready. Like, well, for example, I'll give the analogy. Arjun didn't go to any school to see Krishna's universal form, did he? He says, okay, now go to the school and then you're gonna see the universal form, and then the universal form is gonna be like this. No, Krishna said, you don't have the vision. I'm gonna give you the vision, and here you go. So simple. But we are so used to, Pisna. We are so used to like, what is that? In olden ages, there used to be the stone grinding mortar with the stone. You have to like make the chutney with the stone rubbing on the surface of the stone. We are used to like that because material nature has made us like that. But Krishna consciousness says you don't have to, because Krishna will just give it to you. He just give it to you, become capable. So he's the original cause. There is nothing that caused him. He's the ultimate enjoyer. The external potency is not exactly manifested by Krishna, because his expansion create, maintain, and annihilate. And we are just his different expansion. And in his Paramatma feature, he controls. We have studied this in the last verse too, material universe. Brahman feature is the effulgence from his body. Only devotees know Krishna. How do we know we are a devotee or somebody is a devotee? They are practicing devotional service. They take time and relish Krishna Katha. And they enlighten each other in Krishna consciousness. So philosophers and yogis cannot imagine because they more or less depend on their own strength. Understood? Any questions? We'll go. I think I had some questions in this. Explain Pushan and explain Bhagavan. That. Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections?